Some stories crawl out of the grave. Others are buried beneath ice and silence. From the bone-dry heart of the Australian outback to the snow-blind trails of Siberia, terror doesn't knock, it waits. Here, we tell the tales that stay with you long after the fire's gone out. Zombies, vanished hikers, unsolved deaths, end-of-the-world whispers that echo through time. This is Aussie After Dark, the place where the line between fact and fear disappears. So light a candle, lock the doors, and don't blink. Because the story you're about to hear might just be true. And if you can take a second to subscribe, it really motivates and helps to continue these stories. Well, anyway, let's join Ethan once more. Also, in the comments below, let me know where you're from, and we might just pop up there. In the hours before dawn, Brisbane felt like it was holding its breath. Camp Juliet stirred with quiet urgency, boots crunching over gravel, low voices, the muted clatter of weapons being checked for the third or fourth time. Above us, the floodlights painted the oval in bleached white, casting long shadows behind the vehicles, the sandbags, the sleeping civilians tucked beneath canvas. The morning air was cooler than usual, like the world had cooled down just before it was about to catch fire. I hadn't slept. None of us really had. After last night's contact on Victoria Parade, when a dozen infected tore through a civilian looting party, we'd been tasked with reinforcing the southern barrier. Word from HQ was growing darker. The infection was spreading faster than expected. What had begun with isolated attacks in Logan and Binley was now being reported as widespread civil unrest across the southern fringe. Third section was rotated back to full readiness by 0400 hours. 10 of us, helmets on, eyes up, armored and angry. Corporal Hargreaves stood over a laminated map on the hood of the Bushmaster. His face was stone as he traced a line along the M3 corridor. Roadblocks at Tarragindi and Greenslopes are collapsing, civvy movements turning chaotic. Bravo companies redeploying in staggered sections. We're being tasked with securing inbound evac routes from the south. Our job is to stop overflow from spilling into the city. He looked up. That means anyone coming through unchecked, infected or not. No one spoke. We hold this barrier, no breaches, no exceptions. Mac cracked his knuckles. Hell of a way to spend a Wednesday. We deployed just as the sun crested the smoke-hung skyline. Our M113 lumbered down Logan Road, flanked by burnt-out utes and tilted traffic lights swinging in the wind. We reached a narrow junction, an overpass straddling the freeway below, and that's where we set up. The southern barrier. 2 APCs, 1 Bushmaster, 30 rifles, 30 soldiers, and a growing line of civilian vehicles stretching back as far as the eye could see. Talia set up the field comms beside a half-collapsed petrol station. Malone and Siona posted with the LSW and SAW overlooking the freeway. Jess was already pacing the eastern side, launcher in hand. Harris and Vuksic stood guard at the checkpoint cordon, rusted steel gates reinforced with sandbags and reinforced tire stacks. Mac oversaw the barricade crews, civvies with high-vis jackets and wide, terrified eyes. I stayed mobile. Patch kit strapped tight, gloves on, adrenaline simmering like tea left too long on the stove. Around 0715, the first real surge came. A silver Toyota Camry screeched through the barricade, ignoring shouted commands. Hargreaves fired a warning shot, dead center into the windshield. The car stopped so fast, it skidded sideways. Inside, a middle-aged man, shaking, covered in blood, wife sobbing beside him, 3 children in the back. "Open the doors!" Hargreaves barked. I was already moving with Sione. The man stumbled out, hands up, screaming, "They were sick!" My neighbors, I swear. I didn't know what to do. The woman was coughing, wet, guttural. Sione had his weapon raised. I dropped to one knee beside her. The smell hit first. Vomit, bile, something sickly sweet beneath it. Her eyes were glassy, pupils dilated. "Hey," I said gently. "Ma'am, can you hear me? Have you been bitten?" She tried to answer. Blood frothed at her lips. Her breath hitched. My hands moved fast. Torchlight, pulse check, temperature. Her wrist was cold. Too cold. Then she lunged. Her jaw snapped at me like a steel trap. I flinched back just as Sione fired, one round through the skull. The silence after the shot was worse than the scream. The kids wailed. The father collapsed. Hargreaves ordered immediate quarantine. Tahlia called for a medevac, but none were coming. We burned the body. We gave the man and the kids water, wrapped them in blankets, assigned them to the containment tent beside the fuel station. They cried for hours. We didn't have the time to cry with them. By midday, the infected were no longer rumors. They came in ones and twos, walking, limping, groaning like sleepers lost in a nightmare, always from the south, always with blood on their clothes, eyes empty of anything human. Jess dropped one with a 40mm round when he refused to stop. His body shattered against a brick wall, ribs torn open like wet paper. Harris and Mac shot 3 more, one of them a teenager who'd clawed open a barricade gate with her bare hands. I treated a corporal from another section who'd taken a bite to the calf before his mates could pull him clear. We bandaged it, isolated him. He was laughing when they zipped the tent shut. He wasn't laughing 2 hours later. At 1600, command made it official. No one passed the southern line without full screening and clearance. No exceptions. No second chances. Hargreaves gathered us near the barricade. "This is the line," he said. "From here on, we're the last door before the city. If we crack, civilians inside don't stand a chance. We hold it." We nodded. We understood. That night, the wind shifted. Smoke from the fires down south rolled in, thick and orange. Spotlights cut through the gloom like swords. The line of vehicles stretched past Corporu. People slept in their cars. We could hear crying, screaming. Fights. One man tried to charge us with a hammer. Malone stopped him with the butt of her LSW. No infected breached the line. Not one. As midnight neared, I sat on the bonnet of the Bushmaster, watching the road with tired eyes. Sione passed me a ration bar. Jess leaned against a barrel, arms crossed, eyes sharp. "We're not ready for what's coming," she said, voice low. I didn't answer. I just looked south, into the dark, and waited for the morning. We'd held the line today. But the war hadn't even started. 300 hours. The southern skyline was on fire. Orange-red light danced across low clouds, casting the streets of Brisbane in flickering silhouettes. From the top of our sandbagged barricade, I could see the glow stretching for kilometers. Block after block of burning homes, looted strip malls, overturned buses. And behind it, like a tide we could not hold back, the sound of thousands. Civilians, panicked, fleeing, desperate. And behind them, the infected. Camp Juliet had held for 3 days now. 3 long, smoke-choked days of stopping every car, screening every person, checking every fever, and scratch and bite, with the desperate hope that we'd catch the sickness before it caught the city. We'd lost sleep, lost patience, but we hadn't lost the line. Yet. The comms crackled. Echo Red to Juliet Actual. Mass movement reported at the Annerley Corridor. Estimating 300 civilians inbound. Multiple unverified hostiles. Orders? Tahlia looked at Hargreaves, her face pale in the LED light of her field unit. He didn't blink. We hold the line. 4,400 hours. It began like a whisper. A few headlights in the distance, then engines, then shadows between the street lamps, dozens of them, stumbling, running, screaming. And then the flood hit. Vehicles poured in from the south, dented and bloodied, slamming into our checkpoint barriers. People jumped from moving trucks, mothers carrying kids, old men dragging suitcases. Teenagers with bruised faces and backpacks held tight like lifelines. They screamed, "Let us in! They're coming! Please, my daughter, my wife, he's infected! He's not! It was chaos. Raw, unfiltered terror. "Civilians forward!" Mac shouted. "Single file! Move!" We tried to screen them. God, we tried. I shoved people into makeshift triage tents, checking pulses, shining lights into their eyes, yelling to be heard over the noise. Sione and Harris barked at people to get down, to stay calm, to not run. But then came the second wave. The ones with blood on their clothes. The ones who didn't stop running. The infected. 0437 hours. The first one hit the line like a freight train. A man in a shredded business suit, jaw slack, eyes milk white, sprinting full tilt into the barricade. Malone dropped him with a 3-round burst. Then came more. 10, 20, 40. Some ran, others crawled. One slammed face first into a ute and didn't stop. Kept clawing through shattered glass, mouth wide and shrieking. Hargreaves gave the order. Open fire. And the world turned red. 4,450 hours. Gunfire roared across the freeway. Vucic's F-90 barked in 3-round bursts, each shot finding its mark. Jess launched a smoke grenade, then followed it with a frag. Screams echoed through the haze. Civilians dropped to the ground, some crawling, others hiding under cars as the infected tore past. I found myself beside a girl. Couldn't have been more than 16. Her hand was bleeding. She kept saying, "I'm not bit. I swear. I swear." I wrapped it. Sterry stripped the skin. Didn't even think. Just moved. Behind me, Sione shouted, "6 o'clock! Left flank!" I turned in time to see one of them leaping over the wreck of a taxi, howling. Mac caught him mid-air with a burst from his rifle. Blood painted the side of the Hilux behind him. We were winning, but only just. Every shot felt like a question. How many more are behind them? How long until we break? 5,513 hours. The surge slowed. Bodies littered the road. Black smoke curled from burning tires and spent casings. We stood with empty magazines and scorched gloves, uniforms soaked in sweat and blood. Talia's voice cracked through the comms. "Contact with Echo Red re-established. They're falling back. No reinforcements until dawn." Hargreaves didn't curse, didn't even blink. He just said, "We hold." Max spat blood into the dirt. "We'll run out of ammo before we run out of bastards." Jess reloaded. "Not if we kill fast enough." I knelt beside the girl with the bandaged hand. She hadn't moved. Eyes wide, lips trembling. "You're safe now," I said, even though I didn't believe it. 540 hours. Dawn broke. Gray light washed over the highway, and for a moment everything went still. The infected were gone. The civilians were huddled in the containment zones. Our unit was alive, bruised, shaken, but alive. We had held the southern line. No casualties in our section. Not one. Somehow, through sheer grit and fire, we'd survived. But the silence of morning wasn't peace. It was the breath before the scream. Talia turned to us. "New orders incoming!" We looked south and waited for the next wave. 0600 hours. The city didn't wake. It just lingered. Gray light slid over rows of suburban rooftops like a shroud. No birds, no dogs barking, no breakfast radio. Just the hum of our engine as the M113 crawled down Boundary Road, the asphalt slick from a midnight storm. We were being sent into silence. Somewhere up ahead, a military comms relay had gone dark. Call sign Mantis 1, last signal time-stamped just after the surge. No distress call, no response. Command wanted eyes on sight. That meant us. Third section. 10 boots on the ground, 10 rifles ready, 10 pairs of lungs pretending we weren't all thinking the same thing. What killed the signal? 613 hours. We dismounted at the edge of Holland Park West, corner of O'Grady Street, and a shattered BP servo. The air stank of petrol and mildew. A shopping trolley lay tipped on its side. Its contents melted into a puddle of rotten vegetables and a single shoe. Mac took point, rifle raised. Jess, Harris. Left flank. Talia, on me. Caldwell, eyes peeled. The relay was in a converted Telstra exchange. 2 blocks in, nestled between a primary school and a half-burned dental clinic. We moved in silence. The only sound was the crunch of gravel beneath our boots and the occasional rattle of wind against corrugated iron. It was too quiet. Not abandoned. Emptied. 620 hours. We reached the exchange. The front door hung open, hinges twisted, metal scored with what looked like claw marks. Not deep, but not natural either. Hargreaves signaled halt. Stack up, entry sweep. We breached fast. Vuksic led, I followed. The front room was trashed. Wires everywhere. Coffee cups spilled beside a console still blinking red. Talia moved to the relay rack. No power, she said. Manual switch off. System didn't fail. It was shut down from inside. Why? No one answered. Then Jess spoke. Found a body. Back room, slumped in a corner. Uniformed, one of ours. No helmet, eyes open. A smear of blood across the wall behind him, but no bullet wound. Just a massive bruise along the neck and jaw. Purple. Swollen. Like someone had crushed his throat with a pipe. Only, no pipe. 0630 hours. We heard it. The scrape. Metal on tile. Something dragging. Then silence. Then again. Closer. Mac signaled. Rear hall. We moved, rifles tight to shoulders. I could hear my own breath, hot and ragged in my mask. Then the shape moved into view. Human. Almost. It staggered into the hallway, hands trembling, face twitching like a glitching video feed. Lips parted. Teeth cracked. And black. I don't know who fired first. Probably Jess. But within seconds, the hallway was thunder. 2. Then 3. Then 7 of them poured through the far stairwell. Uniforms, civilians, all twisted. We fell back, tight formation, controlled bursts. Caldwell, rear door, go! I kicked it open. Fresh air rushed in. Then 2 infected barreled into me. I hit the dirt hard. Rolled. Came up with my sidearm. 2 rounds, 2 kills. Mac pulled me up. You good? Yeah. Breathless. Yeah. 6,640 hours. We cleared the building. Relay dead. 7 infected down. 1 soldier. KIA, already gone before we got there. Whatever had gotten in, got in fast. Back outside, we fanned out and regrouped near a storm drain entrance. Jess crouched beside the grating. Blood trail, fresh. Hargreaves nodded. No time. Fall back. Report to command. They're coming through the sewers now. No one spoke. We all knew what that meant. No more barricades. No more direct assaults. The infected were learning new paths. 700 hours. Back at Camp Juliet, I wrote up the casualty report for the dead relay tech. Name unknown. Jaw broken. No bite marks. I closed the file. We still hadn't lost a single member of Third Section, but I could feel it. The city was shifting. It wouldn't stay ours much longer.